Hello everyone, this is Mark. Welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on machining a couple of tailpipe extensions for a Honda Goldwing. A friend of mine purchased one of the new Honda Goldwings, and if you haven't seen any of them yet, they've been out, I think since 2018 or 19 is when the first new design came out. They're awesome looking bikes. They're beautiful. Everything about them is just awesome. I ride a Harley Ultra Classic, so I'm a die-hard Harley guy. My friend keeps trying to get me to upgrade to a Goldwing, but I'm just not going to do it. So anyway, he asked me recently to make him some extensions for his exhaust, because on the mufflers at the back of the bike, there's two little smaller pipes inside of the muffler, and the outer part of the muffler sticks out past those pipes just a little bit. It's not much, maybe a half inch, 3/4 inch, something like that. But the problem is, he says he's getting a lot of carbon buildup stuff on the end of his pipes, because those pipes, the exhaust is coming out before it gets out of the pipe, so he wants some little extensions made. So he came up with a drawing for me, and he sent me a PDF file that I just rough sketched out the dimensions on a piece of paper. And you can kind of see there's two different sizes, smaller one and a bigger one. They're about 2.5 inches long overall, with 45 degree on one end. And then on this end here, I've got to put a slice top and bottom, so when he puts clamp on it, it'll squeeze down onto the existing pipe. And what I was talking about a little bit on the, see if you can get that in there. On the exhaust pipes, they're not round. The mufflers come back at the end of the bike, and then there's it's like a chrome beadering kind of thing on the end of it. Well, these two pipes end like right here, and the other one, it's not directly below, I think a little bit offset. So you got this area from here to here, but as exhaust comes out, any carbon or whatever builds up, and it's building up on this, and it just looks ugly. So his goal is these will slip down over these pipes and then come out and stick out like that. So and he can adjust them in and out, so they're just barely sticking out, so hopefully exhaust will go out and not discolor this part of the muffler anymore. So that's our goal anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to face off the end of this pipe, so I got a good square shoulder to go against, and then this is for the bigger one. You can see the size difference. That one will actually slide inside this one, my tool wasn't in the way. So go ahead and face it on. That inside, and I'm only facing one end off because I'm going to pull this out, put this in a pipe center, and turn the OD of this first, and then part it off to length, and then bore it halfway through from each end. I do the same thing to this one basically. That one I can do without the pipe center. I can do the big one without it or not. Nope. I have to use pipe center on the bigger one. No big deal. Might put an insert in that. The OD is not that critical because it's out in the wind, but the ID's got to flip over that other pipe, so I got to make sure that it's the right size. The OD on this one has to end up 40 thousandths over 1 inch, and I got 53 thousandths, so I only got 13 thousandths to take off the outside of this. I hope it cleans up, but this is just seamless tubing. It's usually pretty good. We shall see. About perfect. Just polish a little bit. All good enough. That one's done. I just got to part it off now. Do the same thing to the other one. Before I finish parting that all the way through, I want to break that edge from both ends. Just so it doesn't have a sharp edge on it there. That's the first one. On the outside anyway. seals. Piece off there. You can see it turned out pretty slick. Now I just got to bore over that and then cut an angle, put the slots in each end, and it'll be done. Sounds easy, right? Now this is black pipe, and it's kind of funny, black pipe is just made up of any old steel they can find to make it out of, but sometimes it'll turn the nicest of even some of the tool steels and everything that's got a lot more carbon and stuff in it. I don't know why. That'll go big enough, I don't know. Might have to put a little bit of a chamfer on that on the inside to get that big enough. Running it backwards, so it's cutting on the backside material right now. I'm just trying to get a chamfer in there for the pipe center, so it's got something to hit on. Hopefully that'll work. Move that a little bit. Anyway, what do I do here? Looks like it's close enough down here now. Okay. Now this one, the OD has to be 1.240, so it's 10,000ths under inch and a quarter. Right here about 70. down a little bit more. It's chattering on me a little bit. I just want to break that edge again, bolt in. Take that little bit of air cloth. Didn't really need it. I'm doing something you should never ever do. Anytime you're polishing something like that, this emery cloth should be no longer than, it should be less than the circumference of your part you're doing, because if it's longer than that, it grabs, it will tighten down like a vice grip on your finger. I had that happen when I was younger. I was polishing the shaft one day and it was a little bit long and it wrapped around and it caught my thumb. And luckily, it just caught the end of it and it just jerked my hand, and it didn't hurt me, it scared me. So if you notice, when I am doing this, and again, don't do this at home, I make sure I have less than the full wrap around there, and I keep the rest of it up so there's no way it can get caught around itself. But that's still very dangerous. Don't ever do that. It's just, it can get you hurt. And my father-in-law worked for a company that made wheels in Illinois, where we're from. And they had a gentleman, he was doing that, and he had a big long strip of emery cloth, and he was polishing some spindles, and it got wrapped up. It pulled him into it, and just, it was like he went in a blender. My father-in-law was the unfortunate person that had to clean up the machine after they did their investigation. And he said there were still parts of this guy in the machine, down in the coolant and all the everything. It was just, it was really bad. So don't ever do that, because it can happen. And there you go, there's the second one. So now we just have to bore it out. Okay, so I got the first one all bored out, and I got some layout foot on the outside to lay out for the angles. And then go ahead and start boring out on this. Okay, as you can see, I laid one of them out, the larger one out with this here, it's red layout fluid. And then the small one I laid out with the blue layout fluid. It's both the same thing, it's just two different colors. I just wanted to see which one shows up the lines better on material like that, just for comparison. I don't know why I got these on eBay, and for some reason they sent me one bottle of each. I couldn't order just two blue or two red, and so I thought, well, I'll try it and see how it works. I use mainly the blue. That's when I first started out. That's all they had at the shop I worked at. They didn't have red there, and so you kind of get used to using the blue. And you know, it's funny. The first time I used this stuff, it was in junior high in shop class, and it still smells the same today as it did back then. It's just got a distinct smell to it, which I kind of like. Okay, so that's marking my center line of 2.5 inches from the bottom up. I kind of screwed up. I wasn't thinking correctly, and I got this one right. Somehow I got that other one too long. Anyway, I was thinking my longest length on both of these is 2.5 inches from here to the biggest point. So I was thinking as long as I made it 5 inches long, a little over 5 inches long, it'd work out perfect. And dummy me, I wasn't thinking because they overlap, and I have to hit somewhere in the middle of that dimension. So I probably should have, I probably could have shortened this to about maybe an inch or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the angle on there first and maintain my 2.5 inch on this side, and then this one that's left over I'll just put in the lathe and part off whatever I need to get 2.5 inch on this side. That'll give me a little bit of room to play with, because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to part this out first, because I don't have any really good way to hold it to cut it in a machine, so I'm almost going to have to clamp it down somehow and take my parting wheel in a disc grinder and just come in and plunge and cut it, keep it as straight as I can, and then true it up when I get all done. So I might fudge a little bit on this line here, and then come back and true it up, so I got a little bit of extra material up there. And luckily, because I screwed up at the beginning, I have plenty to work with, so I'm not going to cut myself short. So what I did to lay this one out, I took this magnet, and this is why I'm not on my surface plate in the office there, because it's granite. I wanted something magnetic so I could stick this to it. This welding magnet, that's a 45-degree angle, so if I stick this on there and come up to that line right here at the highest point, right there, and then if I scribe around, that will give me my layout line. And it doesn't matter which angle I come in with this, because my surface is always the same distance from here up. So, you know, I can come in and hit it any way I can to get a line in, because over here I can't go straight in because I hit up here. So I've got to come in at an angle and kind of drag it across like that and mark it. Then I can turn it around and do the same thing on this other side. Just come in from the edge, scribe me a line. And you don't have to make it deep, you're just putting a line through the layout fluid so you can see where to cut. You can see I almost hit here to get it all the way to the center of that part. Okay. And you can see there I couldn't quite reach it, so I got to finish that by hand, which is the same thing I did on the other one. I'll just take a scribe and finish that out. There, because it's not super critical. Like I said, he can adjust these in and out just as long as I get the angles right. And then what I want to do, I want to find the center. And again, I'm just eyeballing this, the center of those two, to lay out for where the cuts on each end have to go. So I can just set it in here. come down like this and get close. Let's drag a line and then flip it around. Find my line here. There's pretty good. Drag a line down like that. And that'll give me my lines where I have to part back on two sides opposite each other, so when he puts the clamp on, it'll squeeze down onto his pipe. And now comes the part I'm dreading, trying to cut that without screwing it up, because it's so thin I can't hardly clamp it because I'll crush it, but yet I'm going to be putting quite a bit of pressure on it with that parting wheel that it could grab and throw it out on me. So let me see if I can get this clamped down, and then I'll get the camera going again. Okay, I don't know how good this is going to show up in the camera, but I went ahead and cut this one in two and got it close. I'm going to have to take it over on the sanding disc and just kind of flatten it out a little bit, because I'm having to cut it with a parting wheel. And you can see it's close, but it's not perfect. So I'm going to go over, clean those up on that after I get done here, but I'm going to show you how I did it. It's kind of crude. I really don't have a good way to do it. And I can't cut all the way through it because, of course, I'm clamping it, so I have to cut just a certain amount through just to get me started, and then I can finish it clamping it down to the bench. So here we go. So I cut most of the way through it, but that's about it. So I'm going to kind of show you kind of what I did here. I kind of put my scale in here. It's kind of warm in that slot, so I know I'm kind of straight up and down, just eyeballing it. And then I put a magnet on each side to kind of hold on to it. And a clamp right here just to keep it from getting too squirrely on me. That kind of helps hold it down. Okay. And that'll kind of hold it. Now I'll flip it over and do the same thing to the other side, and it should come in two pieces then. So, and then I'm going to have to square it all up with a grinder. Okay. So there you go. Now I'll go over and I'll clean up with the grinder, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get it all done. Well, here are the finished products. They got slots in them to hold them on the pipe when he puts clamp on them, 45-degree angle on the end. And he's going to paint them, so I wasn't too worried about the finish on them, so hopefully they'll be okay. Well, that's another project I have finished. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And it was kind of involved for no more than what it was. It's sometimes doing those simple jobs like that are more involved than a hard, complicated job, but we got it done. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.